So our company is focused on building what we call communities of opportunity, and these are places in which we hope to transform the lives of our residents, to particularly give the children a better future and the older people better health, and everybody better health. And so our projects start with affordable or mixed income housing. We particularly like to mix a range of income bands. Our buildings are typically located literally next to mass transit or within 3 blocks of mass transit, as that's very important. Our buildings are all made to be green, which means they're not only using more energy efficient systems and are better insulated, but they're also using non-toxic building materials. So they're better for the health of the residents. And then every building has an on-site community health exam room, a social service consulting room, a library, a community room, community gardens, a computer room. We partner with local agencies to bring on-site health, to bring after-school education programs, computer training, all kinds of things. And so we're really trying to create a community that provides opportunity. The other thing is we really believe in an idea we call collective efficacy. So that's creating an empowered resident base so that working together they can make a difference. There's a rising understanding of not only urban segregation, racial segregation, and the history of it, but overcoming it is much harder than discussing it. I'm particularly thinking about Chicago right now, which I recently saw a map of racial segregation, and there's a white area, and within that a white Jewish area, and there's a African American area, and there's a Hispanic area, and there's an Asian American area. They're all very defined neighborhoods. In Singapore, to get over the issue of racial differences, they actually require a racial mix in every building, which means after a generation or so, you've significantly reduced racial disparity. And I actually think that's a good thing. Villa Verde is about 220 apartments. A third of them are home ownership, they're co-ops for middle-income people, and 2/3 are low-income rental. It's designed as a very green building, very lower energy consuming, basically by having a very good skin that is highly insulated and energy efficient appliances, things like that. It has solar on the roofs. So we try and make it very energy efficient. We use healthier materials that don't off-gas and have toxic effects for the residents. And then we created a children's play area. The building rises in steps as it goes taller and taller, and the green roofs that are connected on all those. It's much harder to build new buildings, and it takes much more time, and the financing is very complicated, but we're beginning to really try and imagine what is the ideal that we could build. So we already have one project, and we're trying to do another one with an actual school in it, and a 20,000 square foot community health center. We've done several projects. Villa Verde has a health center. When you're buying existing affordable housing, you have all the constraints of the things already built. But we can work at 10 times the scale because it's much easier to buy existing, the time period is much quicker, and then retrofit those to make those greener and bring the same community of opportunity elements, though on a smaller scale, to the existing buildings. So I'm very lucky. This is a calling. I was born wanting to do this. I was born in a real estate family. My father was a developer, primarily building market rate buildings and office buildings, but he did do some affordable housing in the 60s that I was very passionate about. My mother was very involved in civil rights, and I was really interested in the ideas of social justice. And I loved nature and the environment, and I wanted to figure out how do you bring housing and social justice and the environment together. There really wasn't a good model for it back then. In the 90s, I created a project called the Burnham Building, which was actually a complete renovation of an old factory building. We made it very green, and that became the basis for a program called the Enterprise Green Community Guideline. Your building has to be green enough to qualify, and it has annual monitoring that goes with it. Actually, your utility bills and water bills are reviewed by a third party to ensure that you're meeting your goals. This is now required by almost every agency that finances affordable housing in America. Our goal is to do the same thing on the social side, to prove that this combination I call a community of opportunity, with combining environment with health and education and exercise and healthy food and all those things, that too can make a significant difference. We have to build the data to prove that it works. And then our goal is to working with enterprise to have all the financing agencies in America require that. Then we will have changed the world.